Hey everyone, I'm Cary Smith, and I'm sitting here with Amar Shah. We're both with Client First Capital. And Amar, when we talk about planning for retirement, it is all about taking everything we know, the things that we know are going to happen, and thinking about some of the things that could happen and making sure we're prepared for those. But today we're talking about the five unexpected expenses that retirees should prepare for.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're planning for the certainty of uncertainty, right?
That's right.
So, so it's I think this will be good.
Okay, good. Well, I'm gonna just start with number one, and I think this would probably be number one on most people's minds, and that's healthcare costs. And specifically, I'm thinking healthcare costs that go beyond what Medicare and Medicare supplement might pay for.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are out-of-pocket expenses like
Hmm.
prescription, dental care, vision care. Um, all of those can add up really quick. Uh, especially if anybody's gotten any sort of dental care done in retirement, it adds up really fast, and it could be a couple thousands of dollars, right? And so the biggest thing here is to make sure that you have a healthcare savings cushion or some money set aside for those type of expenses. I know a lot of people have max funded their HSA in their working years, so in retirement they have those dollars available. That's a great idea, but also knowing that your emergency fund is large enough to buffer some of these expenses is very important.
Yeah, very good. If we were playing Family Feud, I'm pretty sure this next one, if someone said long-term care, would go ding. It's number two
Yeah.
on the list because it's also one that's on people's minds.
Yeah.
And and we know that Medicare, although can cover a little bit of care in a facility, it doesn't cover long-term care. And so let's talk about long-term care and the expenses associated with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't pass, you tend to need more help, right? And so when we talk about long-term care, let's just think about needing more help, right? So that may be getting groceries, that may be like house repairs or anything around the house that graduate in terms of needing help to getting out of bed, needing help to shower, continence, and brushing teeth, all those other things. But it's a gradual increase of cost of care, right? And so for most people, when they're thinking about this, they're thinking about their house being the asset that they would use to help pay for that. Here's where the unexpected part comes in. And I think it's really key when you have a married couple. You think about the concept that maybe one of you may need care, but the other one still needs a place to live, needs the house, the equity in the house for their care, right? So the unexpected cost comes in with the advancement of healthcare. You may be in a situation where both of you may need care, but your timing makes it so that you can't use the equity in your house 100%.
Yeah. And I would think there's some other factors kind of working, against you as far as cost goes. One, everyone knows America's aging. People are living longer, right? But they're not necessarily living healthier in those additional years that they're living. And but because we have so many boomers who are aging, there's fewer caregivers to give care to a much larger population. So I think this, definitely is prime maybe for some innovation, but also I think it's going to be hard to keep costs down in that demand far exceeding the supply of caregivers that we'll be
Yeah,
facing.
and we're seeing that already today when
Mhm.
you look at moving into a senior living community, right? Like where the deposits have now grown by 13 to 15% year over year
Mhm.
to even get in, right? So
Right.
those costs are definitely growing at a faster rate than inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number three is one of the biggest expenses that people have in retirement. It's definitely not unexpected, but it's taxes, right? But there are some things that can be unexpected with taxes. So let's talk about those.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one here is that uh, when it comes to taxes, most people have itemized in their working years. And once you retire, your house is paid off, If you have a business, you don't have the business owner type deductions that you had while you're
Right.
working. And then standard deductions tends to make more sense, right? And that becomes a bigger piece of the pie of your tax planning. Here's where the unexpected piece can come up is that if one spouse were to predecease another spouse, then you lose the standard deduction and your tax brackets shrink. And so you could have the same IRA balances overall, but the taxes on those distributions could go up significantly.
Yeah. And, with the ones we've talked about, like long-term care, there's long-term care insurance and things of that nature. There's ways to mitigate some of these expenses. With taxes, the best way to mitigate it is through good tax strategies and good tax planning. And I will say typically that takes working with a financial advisor, a CPA, or someone who can help you with this type of tax planning. And so there is a way to prepare for that, but it does require some planning and
Yeah,
strategy.
it's a very you have to take a proactive approach, right?
Hmm.
Not what's the least amount of taxes I can pay this year. It's over a period of time. How do I reduce my overall tax bill?
That's right. That's right. Okay, so number 4, this one I think a lot of people are dealing with today, and we'll probably see more of this in the future. But it's family financial support. So it's people that are close to you, your children, siblings, parents, people that are needing some financial support from you that you really didn't build into your retirement plan or your financial plan.
Yeah, it's amazing how this type of conversation has moved up in terms of the order of priority with some clients that we work with. Children are boomeranging back into the family house. Um, Jobs are harder to get upward mobility in terms of career wise, right? And we have a shrinking workforce, right? But with technology and everything else like that. So this can come in many forms. It could be financially helping children to help them get their first house, get their down payment. Could be helping with bills that they may be facing. But it could also be with siblings that may have lost a job, or there's some family dynamics where that there could be some help there as well. And so it's important to kind of see, how much of that stress or burden you're willing to take on, and how much of that will impact your retirement, right?
That's
And
right.
so, oftentimes, I have two young children, 9 and 7, so I haven't really faced it myself yet, but I know my parents would, they would move mountains to make sure that I'm, able to be comfortable, right? But we've got to weigh the risk and balances on your own retirement versus that help, financial help.
Yeah, yeah, all good points. Okay, our fifth and final is inflation and really just the rising cost of living, right?
Yeah, this is a big one, and it's been a big one because I think it's a talking point now that we're in an election year. It's on front
Hmm.
of everybody's mind. We've just gone through a period where no matter how you slice it, things have gotten more expensive, right?
Right.
Over the last 3 years, you can't say things have gotten cheaper in any form if you compare point to point. Um, this also takes other forms of inflation. Sometimes when you look at the CPI calculation, you're saying, well, I don't have a mortgage, so the rent piece doesn't impact me directly, right? But sticking with housing, you do have a house that's probably larger than what your needs are. Your house probably has maintenance issues that you need to solve, right? And those costs have gone up significantly. And so um, the wear and tear on a house, can also add up. But just fixing and repairing daily things, around that have been a large piece of that inflation um, piece that you probably don't think of directly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And the cost of travel and recreation, right? Those are things that we build into our retirement plans. How many trips you want to take a year, where you're going to go, and you might have to adjust what you allocated for some of those expenses, digging in a little bit deeper into your expense or adding more to your expense, just because the cost of recreation and travel is going up just like everything else, or has gone up.
Yeah. So not to focus just on housing, but like everything broadly that you
That's
want to
right.
experience is getting more expensive. Right.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So let me just recap. Healthcare costs. We're talking about things beyond, Medicare. Long-term care expenses, right, are something that can be an unexpected cost. If there's two of you in the household, chances are one of the two of you are going to need care for, an extended period of time. Taxes, right? And so there's a lot of different things that can trigger, taxes being different than what you planned for when you built your plan. Helping out other family members and that financial support, and then the cost of living, right? So those are some of the unexpected costs that we might have in retirement.
Yeah. And we build this into the plan in terms of, we don't run just one plan, right? We run 5 different versions of a financial plan to kind of layer in some of these uncertainties. And so if you're thinking about retirement and want to do a financial plan and want to figure out where you stand in some of these uncertainties, please reach out to us. Our website is clientfirstcap.com. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps other people find our content. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, everyone. See you, Amar.
Bye.